Hi, my name is BMACKINNON. This is my presentation for ASR310 on week 6's readings titled Interpretation, the Role of the Guru and Language in Buddhism. Just some introductory remarks. I'm in my final year of a Bachelor of Commerce degree at Deakin, majoring in finance, and this is my third religious studies unit. I've really enjoyed studying religion. I feel like it's the polar opposite of my usual finance studies. This unit has really increased the intensity of religious examination while incorporating concepts of mysticism. I've really enjoyed the trimester so far, so thank you very much. That's me in the middle on my wedding day last year. I thought it'd be nice to put a face to my voice as I am presenting via recording and not live. As I mentioned to you in my email, I have been working with New South Wales Health doing COVID-19 contract tracing. It's completely crazy up here at the moment, and that's why I'm presenting via recording and individually. My motivations for picking this week's readings for my presentation was actually my wife, who you can see in that photo. She's a Buddhist who was born in Thailand and has practiced Buddhism her entire life. Through this topic, and specifically this presentation, I've learned more about her religion. We actually had a discussion today about the 5 precepts of Buddhism and how they relate to life in Southeast Asia. I commented on how the precept, refrain from taking what is not given, relates to their belief in not stealing, which she agreed. I extrapolated the precept to how the Buddhist monks in Thailand don't eat anything that is not directly given to them by the people. She had never considered this part of Buddhism, but realized it was true, that they were epitomizing the rule and taking it as far as possible to achieve Buddhahood. Throughout this presentation, I refer to the text, but also the commentary on the readings, as I found it extremely helpful in understanding the text. I look forward to hearing your feedback on my work, and I apologize for submitting it so closely to the deadline. But anyway, let's get started. The key ideas covered in this presentation relate to the key elements of the readings, specifically the interpretation point discussed at the beginning of the readings. This point is explored through the difference between the interpretable and the definitive interpretations of Buddha's words. Interpretation is also examined in reference to Buddha's 3 wheels of doctrine. Next, the guru is discussed and the importance of their role in the spiritual path. The guru is also explored in the examination of Tantric and Sutra Buddhist practices and how they differ. Finally, language is discussed as a medium of communication of Buddhist thoughts and its potential shortcomings in explaining Buddhist teachings and mystical experiences. The start of the text discusses interpretation in Buddhism. The text notes the emphasis that Buddhist thought places on examining claims to authority by way of empirical evidence and reasoning, as almost a guideline of Buddhist philosophy. The paragraph then offers the word of the Buddha, urging a group of listeners to evaluate the practical effects of the teachings they receive. Indeed, the text continues to discuss how this style of teaching, where Buddha taught directly to students, led to contradictions in the word of Buddha. This is because Buddha changed his teaching style to suit the audience rather than simply preaching to them. The doctrinal contradictions lead to the need for interpretation. The 2 categories of interpretation are nyatha, or interpretable meaning, or nitatha, or definitive meaning. The text gives numerous examples of the difference between these 2 categories. For example, things that are interpretable are conventionalities, words, humans, existence, the self, and personality. Those things that are definitive are the profound, emptiness, non-existence, and the doors to liberation. The difference between these 2 appears to be those things that are most open to change, such as words and language, are open to interpretation. Those things that are undeniable and unchanging are most definitive. In this part of the text, Buddha offers a method to differentiating interpretable and definitive teachings. This method is called the 3 turnings of the wheel of Dharma, or doctrine. The first wheel focuses on the 4 noble truths. These truths are the truth of suffering, the truth of the cause of suffering, the truth of the end of suffering, and the truth of the path that leads to the end of suffering. Notably, these truths and other related doctrines are stated to be surpassable and provides an opportunity for refutation, meaning they are interpretable. The second wheel is a lesson on emptiness, incorporating the lack of own being, absence of production, and again is open to interpretation. Notably, this is because it is a lesson on emptiness, not the fact of emptiness itself. That is, the wheels are of provisional meaning for trainees of Buddhism, and the teachings are superseded by the definitive doctrines of the third wheel. Finally, the third wheel is where the definitive is asserted. Absence of production, absence of cessation, quiescence from the start, and being naturally in the state of nirvana. The third wheel is unsurpassable and therefore definitive. This part of the text was best understood by myself once I read the part on extracting the essence. As commentated in the text, the Guru plays a central role in Tantric Buddhism. Extracting the essence is a quote from an Indian sage, Tilopa, quoted by a modern-day monk in Tibet. I quote him, "The ignorant may know the sesame oil, the essence, exists in the sesame seed, but because they do not know how, they cannot extract the oil." Paraphrasing, the Guru can extract the oil, or the innate fundamental wisdom that exists within, from all trainees because they know the methodology of doing so. Another essential part of the Guru as a spiritual guide is the idea of being your own refuge. While Buddhism stresses the importance of a spiritual guide in tantric practices, the guide merely shows trainees the way. The meditative practices and the path, so to speak, must still be completed alone. I really resonated with this message as my wife and I often meditate together. She can teach me the methodology, but I must always complete the meditation individually. As I stated last slide, the tantric emphasis on a spiritual guide is an essential part of the practice. This is exemplified by the fact that tantric practitioners learn to visualize a guru as a Buddha. This visualization technique is essential for the shortened time frame of achieving Buddhahood. Indeed, the Sutrayana or Mahayana method of attaining Buddhahood through the six perfections is said to require a minimum of 3 countless eons. Tantric Buddhism states Buddhahood can be achieved in a single lifetime. The tantric system is designed to accelerate this process, but is stated to be considerably more dangerous. This danger increases the emphasis for the need of a spiritual guide for tantric practices. Finally, the text turns to the language. Initially, it is stated that words are largely inadequate to express the fundamental truths of Buddhist belief, specifically the foundations of ultimate reality or the depths of meditative insight. However, the text notes the pragmatic necessity of language for communication and teachings of Buddhist beliefs. Again, the inserts of Buddhist teachings through the dialogue aid in this understanding. A conversation between Nakasana and Milinda discussed the use of language and how Buddhists approach language. This quote draws a line between Buddhist language and the language of kings, stating the Buddhist language is the language of the wise. Indeed, some research into the etymology of Nagasana's name in the Naga or serpent of Buddhism and Hinduism. As a semi-divine, these snakes act as protectors of Buddhist temples and monasteries. I found this intriguing and relatively subtle part of the text. Finally, the text notes the ineffability of language. However, it does note its utility in that language can guide disciples in the right direction of Buddha's words. Conclusively, I'd like to note that without the commentary in the text, I would have been completely lost. Notably, I would rely on both the commentary and the Buddhist literary examples of the lessons to aid in my understanding. We haven't had time to fully discuss the readings, however, they continue by discussing the Buddhist community, charity and morality, and God, gods, and ultimate reality. Overarchingly, the way language is interpreted by Buddhists is centrist to their belief system. The Guru can aid certain Buddhists, such as tantric practitioners, in the path to Buddhahood. And finally, language is ultimately inadequate, but can lead to understanding through direction, rather than definition of Buddhist teachings. Thank you very much for your time. Again, I really appreciate allowing me to present alone. I look forward to hearing your feedback. Bye for now. Thank you.